tell the guys something about Alan. I don't know if I should share this, but I just.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want you to know. I want to tell you how much Alan likes his place. Alan walked up to me, and Alan is rich because he's happy doing what he does. But Alan walked up to me about a week ago and gave me a significant amount of money that he wants to chip in for the yeshiva. He likes what goes on here, and he gave me a serious donation, a serious amount, because I like this place. It means a lot to me, just to know who you are.
Okay, hold on. Every time I get paid, $100 gonna come out of my paycheck, and it's going to the scholarship fund.
Thank you, Big Bro.
Every 2 weeks, every time I get paid, $100 is gonna be. Hopefully, he gets it set up with Rabbi Alfred. They take it out of my check automatically, and it goes right into the scholarship fund.
Thank you, Alan.
So, if y'all don't like it, y'all don't love me then. All right?
Thank you, Alan. Alan, feel good.
Okay. Yo, that's how much I love being here. I've been here 19 years, almost 20 years, and I'm still here. So, like I said, if y'all don't like it, y'all don't love me then. I can keep my $200 every 2 weeks in my pocket.
Alan, I remember you used to vac the dorms when I was 12.
You used to wake up the guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
Yo, earthquake. You know what I'm saying? People, what the hell you do? Yo, get up out of bed, walk up by the street, hit Cook Street.
Is what we are back to.
Earthquake of love.
Alan, maybe we'll restart this waking up thing. Maybe we should restart this, maybe. But
Walk around with the hot
No, I
cocoa.
tried to restart it last week.
Tomorrow,
11,
30 buses tomorrow.
it didn't go over too well. No, one kid said, "Oh, I'm calling my peers." I said, here's my phone. I said, call them. But they were, no, I don't care about where your parents live. So, my phone call anywhere in the United States. You can call Israel if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Call them. I don't care. It's time to get up. It's time for prayer. It's time to be learning. You know what I'm
I like
saying?
that, Alan.
Yo, kids don't like me for that. But I don't care.
Everyone loves
You know
you.
what I'm saying?
We don't like you, bro.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We don't like you.
Yo, me and you, but we have beef for what, 10 years? Yo,
He's on Rabbi.
yo, you never liked me.
But not 10. Why'd you say 10 years?
Yo, it's 15 years. It's 15 years. Yeah. Yo, you never liked me ever since Cook Street. You know what I'm saying?
That is tough.
You see, you think that's bad? You should see him and Rabbi.
What's the beef, Al? What's the beef?
That's when I first met him over on Cook Street. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, I remember, bro.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm
you
saying?
don't forget
Yo,
that.
that's how far back me and Rabbi go.
Yeah, it's
You know
true.
what I'm
True
saying?
story.
You
True
have an
story.
Alan impression?
Oh yeah.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, okay.
Gotta be working on
Yeah,
that.
yo.
You ever heard him imitate me, Alan?
Huh?
You ever heard him imitate me?
No.
Not once.
No. Come on. Stand up, come on.
Stand up.
Part of the yeshiva. Why wouldn't you know my impression?
He's doing it as we
Yo,
speak.
come on, stand up. Come on.
Do a
Yo,
flip.
come on. Yo, I need an invitation.
Oh, I thought you want to go.
No.
Turn the recording off, please. Somebody turn the recording off.
Come on, man. Come on. Give me a good.
Introduce Alan to the Chevra.
I want to say that Rabbi Allen he's the mashgiach in yeshiva. He wakes up he wakes up the bakrim that are when they're comatose.
Thank you.
How am I doing?
All
All right.
Yo,
I gotta work on it.
Yeah, yo, I remember when you had that brown Ford
Who?
Oh, Bernie.
Yeah.
The Crown Vic.
Yeah, the Dodge, the
No, the Crown Vic.
Crown Vic, brother Bernie.
yeah.
Yo, he tore out of that. Yo, he pulled in Cook Street.
Very good.
And he like, he did a U-turn. After his car alarm go beep, 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 beep.
Oh, that was terrible. Oh, it was just a continuous honk. It wouldn't stop. Yeah.
Yo, I can tell you stories. Yo, I can tell you so much stories. Yo,
Dodge Caravan.
y'all wouldn't even leave here on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I can tell you stories when y'all would say, no, this really happened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, it really happened. Believe me. So I can tell you stories, especially about West
Grand Marquis, not Caravan. Grand Marquis.
Yeah. Grand Marquis. Yeah.
Bernie. He was Bernie.
Yeah.
You remember Bernie? Bernie Gradman.
Yeah.
Bernie, that was Bernie.
No, I can tell you stories about Pine Street building.
That's true.
Oh my God.
About what?
Pine Street.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, that building was off the chain. It was crazy. Yo, the eighth floor.
Can I sit down?
You remember the different floors?
The eighth floor.
You okay? Sit.
Yo, you came in one apartment. They knocked out the walls going all the way down. There was 11 apartments on each floor. The eighth floor they knocked out.
He was
all
in
the
that
walls.
dorm. Morty was in that dorm.
No, they knocked out all
What
the walls.
floor were you on, Morty?
I was on the 8 for 2 years.
Who knocked down the walls? The
He
boys?
probably did. yo, he was probably one of them.
Alan, you remember what room I was in? B floor. What room?
B floor. B floor.
B7.
No, B four.
Before.
Yeah.
Was I B2?
Maybe you're right.
Alan, let's go.
Third one from the right. And you come on the left side.
You play something nice
Coming
for us.
from what? The right hand side or the left?
Yeah, no,
Play.
the left side of the building from the parking lot.
Okay.
Menachem, go for it.
Okay. Rabbi,
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry.
Alan. Alan, you did a great
I
job.
did not meant to disturb.
You were just fine, Alan.
All right, okay. But
Take
yo,
it.
if y'all want to hear stories, just let me know. So y'all can tell you stories about that.
We'll all sing. Let's all sing. Menachem's going to play Yid and peel off the klipa. Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Every Yid has a neshama. Peel off the klipas and see the benimius. Every Yid has a neshama. See the benimius. Every Yid has a neshama. Peel off the klipas, see the benimius. Every Yid has a neshama. Yiddish, so holy, so pure, so precious, neshamas of Yiddish, neshamas of Yiddish. So pure, so precious, shames of Yedin, shames of Yedin. Say the benimius, Yedin Yed Adam Neshama. Machov the klipas, say the benimius, Yed Yed Adam Neshama. Machov the klipas, say the benimius, Yed Yed Adam Neshama. was very nice. Good play. You do one more song. Everything. Play something like English. Don't do words. Do without the words.
Really? Not bad.
Play anything.
Is that with the unlimited games and video games? Thank you.
I'm just looking back at
That's obviously.
Is this too high? I'm supposed to do A minor. It's too high.
Yeah, she was knocking off the points.
Very good.
You gotta switch keys there.
I have no idea. Lower or higher? You should go down higher or
A little higher.
put the one down?
I thought your name was not Cables. That's that Chucky piano. Yeah, where's they're around.
I want to learn, Chavre. Thank you, Menachem. Good musician. Happy we have you. Yomi, I want to learn a Rashi ready from Parsha Shemais. Maybe we'll try for a few minutes today to turn our side on Parshas Bai, but I want to read a Rashi. I don't want to skip a Rashi this year on Parshas Shemais. This Rashi always gets me. I want to describe a little what hits me. Yehuda, David, I want you to hear this Rashi. Elia, I want you to hear this Rashi, Elitres. The Rashi is all the way back at the beginning of Shemais. Hashem tells Aaron, go to greet Moshe Rabbeinu. They greet each other. And then Moshe and Aaron go and they gather the Ziknei B'nai Yisrael. And together, there's Moshe, Aaron, and there's Canaan. And together they're instructed to go into Parai together. This is the scariest meeting, David. Moshe, Aaron, and this Canaan are supposed to go into Parai and say, let the Yidden out. Now, David, you don't walk into the king of Mitzrayim and say, let the Yidden out. He takes off your head. You just walk into the king's palace. But Moshe, Aaron, and this Canaan are instructed to go into this to Parai and tell him, to let the Yidden out. The next pasuk says, "Va'acher bo Moshe va'Aaron." Nach them, David, there's Moshe, Aaron, and there's Canaan are together. And then it says, Va'achar bo Moshe va'Aaron va'yomer el Parai. Moshe and Aaron say to... Where is Canaan? It was Moshe, Aaron, and the elders of Klal Yisrael were all tzazamen, David. They were all there. And then it says, Moshe and Aaron say to Parai, Koyamar Hashem. So said Hashem, Shalach Esami, Elikei Yisrael, the God of the Jewish people. Shalach Esami, free my nation. V'yochaygu li b'midbar, and they'll make a chag, they'll make a yantiv in the desert.
So what's the issue?
Ask Rashi, where does the Canaan?
Why can't they be there? I don't know. They didn't say anything.
But it said before that there's Canaan, they were all gathered together, Zikanim, Moshe, and Aaron. And it says, the psukim before say, Vayasvus kol ziknei b'nei Yisrael. They gathered Moshe, Aaron, and this Canaan. And then Moshe, Aaron go, what happened to this Canaan? So Rashi asked the Kasha. Rashi says, Avla Zikanim, obviously Rashi says, what about this Canaan? Nishmetu echad echad, me'achar Moshe v'Aaron. They were behind Moshe Aaron, and one by one they fell off. If you picture, David, a whole entourage, Moshe Aaron and his Canaan, and as they're getting deeper in the palace, one by one, they're like, I'm out, I'm out, I'm out. They were falling off. Avlas Canaan, nishmetu achad achar me'achar Moshe v'Aaron. They slipped away one by one, Ad nishmetu kulam, until there were no Zikanim left. Kaidim shegiu lepaltin, before they got to the palace, one by one they dropped out. There was a whole marching order of Moshe, Aaron, and all this Canaan, and as they're getting close to the palace, says Rashi, one by one, there no more Canaan. By the time they get to the palace, it's only Moshe and Aaron. Why'd they all drop out? Says Rashi, Lefi sheyiru laleches. They were scared. Out of fear, they dropped out. It's very scary. So they dropped out. We're not going in. And one by one, all this Canaan dropped out. Says Rashi, Uvesinai nifrelem, at Har Sinai they were paid. V'nigash Moshe levadai, Moshe alone got to go up the Har. V'hein lo yigashu, this Canaan had to wait by the bottom of the Har. So Yomi Rashi says that the ones who were loyal when the chips were down, when we were going to Para, it was not the popular thing to do, Dubs. When they were walking into Para, it was highly not popular. Klal Yisrael and Hashem were, Klal Yisrael's being punished. Is Hashem going to stand up for us? I don't know. Para is empowered and in charge and the all-powerful one. To stand up to Parai then was very hard. And this Canaan back away. Because they were afraid. Says Rashi, by our Sinai, everybody, they are ready. Hashem did all the Makkahs. Did Kriyas Yamsuf. Everybody wanted to come up Sinai. What Hashem's rules? Moshe Rabbeinu, who went in when the chips was down, he's coming up Sinai. Yuz Canaan didn't go into Parai. You're not coming up to Har Sinai. There was a guy in...
Let's go! Who's your daddy? Pay up. Pay up! Pay up! And pay up now. Let's go. Shoot my shame. Who's your daddy?
There was a guy in yeshiva years ago, David, very good, Rebbe. There was a guy in yeshiva. You knew this, Martha? There was a guy in yeshiva, David Handelsman.
Maybe I was counting down like 10.
Let's go! David Handelsman was a very, very special bacher. Today he's married to Ben Tyre, a beautiful family. David Handelsman, it took a little while to become a chassan. He was a big massman, a very special guy. And he had a rule in yeshiva, when he became a chassan, I remember he said, when I was a bacher for a long time, so a certain number of families hosted me. Now when a guy's engaged, Yomi, everybody wants to host the chassan. It's like the hot thing, the chassan and kala, whoa. So he said that whoever hosted me when I was a bacher could host me when I'm a chassan. And when you're a chassan, a lot of people want to host. It's a big thing. Who the chassan and kala ate by. A chasna kal is a big power. Aaron, I want you to use this. You have a few more weeks. You visit people. It's different. Rings different. You go to an aunt, an uncle. You have a power now. The chasna and kal are here. It's a big deal.
He's actually the one guy that everyone would invite, even though.
Even as well. It's true. It's true. But it's still a big power. The Chassan and Kal, they're here. They came to visit. You and Abby have a power right here, right now, to go different places and make people feel like $1 zillion. Just pop in the Chassan and Kala. So David Handelsman said that whoever hosted me when I was a bacher and wasn't as popular to host me, but it was wonderful to host him, he said that's who I'm going to with the Kala. That reminded me exactly of this pasuk. Why it means so much to David, the reason this pasuk means so much, there's a pasuk, it says, Eis Lasais Lashem. When is the most important to do for Hashem? Eiferu Tarasecha, when people are not keeping the Torah. In all friendships, we all appreciate the people who were there for us when the chips were down, when it wasn't so popular. When it wasn't as popular, it's very easy at certain points to be with somebody, to care, but the friendships that the most meaningful and deep, they were there for me when nobody else was. That's means something. Somebody comes to a lot of money, everybody's friends with the guy. But who was there for him before then? Who cared about him and noticed him before then? And Kaviyachol by Hashem, the people that were there when it wasn't easy, when it wasn't popular, when there's Mesiras Nefesh, when it's very, very popular, Hashem says, I want that one. He was there when the chips were down, so to speak. That is extra meaningful, extra special. And I picture Moshe and Aaron going to Paray when it was really, really difficult and not so simple at all. But that's when it's so much more meaningful. You did it when it was less popular.
What about Aaron? Did he go too?
It's interesting, very interesting. And Menachem asked, I don't know, I want to look this up. It's funny that it doesn't speak about Aaron. It says the Zikanim went away and they were punished because Moshe v'anigash Moshe levadehem lo yigashu asked Menachem, where was Aaron? Aaron went in. And yet Aaron didn't go, but it says Haim lo yigashu, the Zkanim can't go. What about Aaron is a very, very valid question. But this Nekuda, that the ones who were loyal, Aaron, the ones who were loyal, Moshe and Aaron were loyal when it was difficult. That has a special, special meaning and a special, special value that you were loyal when it was difficult. There are many times this come up in our own avodah with Hashem. When we do something when it's quiet, when it's difficult and hard, that has a very, very special value. We can all relate to this type of thing in relationships. The ones who were there before it's popular to be there, before that means something more. That means something more, that says something more. That pasuk, Eis Lasais Lashem, the most important time to do for Hashem Eiferu Tarasecha. People are going against the Torah. It's not with the tide. It's not the popular thing per se, but that has a special, special chavivus. There are many chazal and many inyanim you find like this. I look at starters of minyanim. I look at our minyan. It's slowly growing, and by the end of the year, you'll have to beg for a seat. That Shachas Minyan, and it's certainly chashuv. Everybody who comes, everybody who's there, but the people at the beginning have there's something special to the starters of something, the people who put in and invest before it was very popular, before the thing was so hot and in and important, but somebody cared about something and somebody invested in something, somebody believed in something, that has a special, special chavivus. There's something different and strikes different about that. There's just so many times in our life that this type of energy comes up in all different ways.
Bring our collars to you. You can do that? You can handle that?
Please, that would be
When the chips were down.
Yeshua Teiva.
Amazing.
I'm sure, Dov, there's deep in Yanim of this Canaan running away. That there's something deep there, not just a simple, they're just afraid and they go away. I'm sure there's Torah on this, but on just a simple level, the value of this action that the Torah attributes Moshe going into Paray, Timding Zeicha to go up and receive the Torah for us. And the Torah attributes it to him going into Paray, to that Mesiras Nefesh. when it was difficult and hard and unlikely, and was there even going to be results, and all the gedula of later on, to get to go up to Har Sinai, to get to approach alone, is attributed to this activity when the chips were down. That's instructive to me. That says a lot to me. That's something instructive. I didn't want to just skip that Rashi. I wanted to share that Rashi with the Chevra. What were you saying, Avla?
What's the shaykhs in the two things? Just because he's a
Avi
Jew.
is stark. Avi says, like, what shaykh is going up to Har Sinai? Avi says, why is one connected to the other? He goes into Pare, I get it. But is there, Avi wants to know, is there something more, Mida Kneged Mida, something more specific? It attributes Moshe Rabbeinu going up, receiving the Torah, to specifically going into Pare when it's scary. Why are those two things? What's the correlation, those two things? So I do want to say that we say in Avarab, it's a very good question, like is there more to this? It does say in Avarab, Bavur Aviseinu Shabbatchu B'cha V'Talamdem Chukei Chaim. If we trust in Hashem, He teaches us Torah. We find faith in Hashem and Emunah, and being taught Torah is tremendously connected. We say that in Avarab, Bavur Aviseinu Shabbatchu B'cha. On behalf of our fathers that trusted V'Talamdem Chukei Chaim. It's interesting that here there's a betachin of going into Paray when you got to be nuts. There's a natural yira, and Moshe Rabbeinu is Beiteach and Hashem, and he's the one who gets to teach us Torah. Now you could ask, why is that so? Why is betachin a zchus to receive Hashem's Torah? It's a valid question. I do see a very similar correlation that Moshe goes in, he puts aside his own yira, and he goes in. I want to share something. It's a secret, Moshe. This secret is what I want to share with every guy here in your life. David, I promise you'll gain from hearing this a lot. If everybody listens, I want to share Mesilas Yesharim, but please hear this well. Shemi, listen to this, Mesilas Yesharim. The Zkanim are afraid and drop out, and Moshe Rabbeinu goes into Paray. So in a very superficial thing, Moshe Rabbeinu, like either he doesn't have as much yira, is not as scared. Moshe Rabbeinu is tougher. I want to tell you, Moshe, I want to tell you a chiddush, but for this chiddush, Moshe, you're going to have to take off your coat. This is a no-coat chiddush. Moshe, listen to this chiddush. It's from the Mesilas Yesharim. There are many things, Avi, there are many things in our life that we say we don't do because we're afraid. The Zkanim didn't go to Para, they were afraid. Was Moshe less scared than the Zkanim? There are going to be many things in our lives, I'm scared. I promise there are a lot of scary things to do. And we say the reason we don't do it is I'm afraid. Endless things we don't do because we're afraid, and that's what we think. Says the Mesilas Yesharim, people think hayira goyremes laha'atzlus, that fear causes laziness. I'm afraid, it's so scary, I'm anxious about this, so I'm not going to do it. There are guys in yeshiva who don't walk into the dining room. I'm scared. They don't come to a minyan. They don't do a lot of things. And they say, my fear causes my atzlus. Atzlus is inactivity, laziness. And people think their yira, their fear, causes atzlus. Says the Mesilas Yesharim, it's the opposite. Ha'atzlus goyremes hayira. Atzlus causes yira. And I want to explain it. What does laziness mean? Laziness, people will say on a kid, parents have told me, my kid sleeps in bed all day, he's lazy. I don't think they understand what laziness means. Whenever we say atzlus, we mean lack of passion for something. He hasn't found the thing he's passionate about. If a person is afraid, so he could say, the reason I'm not doing that thing is I'm afraid, but really it's your lack of passion that's causing the yira. The one who does it is not less afraid than you, he's just more passionate about the thing. I'll give a mashal. Chabad Hasidim moved to crazy places. Aren't they scared? Very scary to raise kids there. The guy moves to New Mexico, Albuquerque, Kentucky. Isn't he afraid to raise his kids there? Very scary. away from a Jewish community. It's frightening. So I have news for you. The guy is just as scared as the rest of us. He's not less afraid. He just has an idealism that they're Yidden there. And what do you mean? They're Yidden there. They're Yidden there. So he has a passion for a cause. The passion for the cause causes him to overcome his yira. Moshe and Aaron have just as much fear. It's very scary to go into Parai, but they feel Am Yisrael's in a sakana. Welcome home, chicken. Look at that. Moshe and Aaron, not a chas, shah tov, and it's right time. But Moshe and Aaron have as much fear as does Canaan to go in, Moshe. But the word is that the mission, Am Yisrael's in a sakana. All the time, I have spoken, we have guys in yeshiva who are fighting in the army. I've asked guys, I'm not saying every guy, I ask, are you afraid? Some guys have said, I'm very scared. But what do you mean? Klal Yisrael's in a situation. The idealism helps you overcome the fear. And if something's stopping because of fear, it's not the fear that's causing you not to do it, it's the lack of idealism. Eina yira goremes ha'atzlus, ha'atzlus goremes ha'yira. You will find, all of us will find things in our lives we're afraid to do. All of us will find things, I promise. You will find things you're very scared to do. You don't battle the fear. Don't get involved. I'm scared. I'm not scared. How do I overcome it? How important is the thing? And if the thing's important, you'll see. If you decide in your church, but I have to do this. This got to get done. It's got to get done. I have calls I'm very afraid to make. And I've got all different things I'm afraid to do. I can't spend time on the fear. I have to ask myself, how important is the mission? At the point the mission's important, so then the fear melts. I have to do this. I need to do this. It's important I do this. And then the fear melts away. The fear was there, but if the person works on the idealism, I want the guys to memorize those words if you don't mind, because you'll see it in your life over and over. And it's a task how to get into difficult places. You will have muscles if you just look at the fear, I'm scared, I'm not doing it. If you plug into the idealism, you ask yourself, is this important? At the point you decide it needs to be done, I'm afraid, I'm frightened, it's true, but it needs to get done. But it needs to get done. This has to be. This has to be. I'll give the silliest examples. It's not silly. You go for a Shabbos to your friend's Afraf. You know how valuable a friend gets up and praises his friend? Many of us have fear of speaking in public. It's scary. And the guy said, I'm just too scared. Your fear is not stopping you from speaking. You're not picturing and thinking how important it is a friend gets up and speaks about him. If I get up and praise him, you know what that means to the family? You can utilize the zrizus, the firing up of the mission, and all of a sudden, sure I'm scared, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done, and you picture what it would look like, what it would mean to him, what it would mean to the new family. His friend got up and is praising him beautifully. So you could say on many things that I was afraid I didn't do it.
Is that Zrizus? That's what Zrizus is?
That's what Zrizus is. That's what Zrizus means. It means a passion for the cause. People say, my son's lazy. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't found meaning and purpose in something. At the point that it means something to him, you could overcome crazy obstacles because it means something to you, because you hold of this, because you're idealistic about this. A few years ago, we had something in Durham that we needed somebody to sign. We had a complicated situation with the government. And I couldn't find somebody willing to sign, and all the Rabbeim were willing to sign, and needed somebody outside of our organization. And we were looking for somebody to sign that. Like, hit me. But I hired all the courageous people, and the Rabbeim are willing to put their necks. But it's mamish this Messias Yesharim. To them, the mission was, they give their life, this mission's important. So the yira, they have the same yira as everybody else. But if the mission's more important, it's all a measuring thing. People even ask shilas. People ask Rabbanim shilas all the time. I see this. So the Rav said not to do it. It's too dangerous, too scary. You didn't ask a fair shaila. If you describe the shilas needs to be done, it's passion. So then, okay, I hear. And then it's not. You have a yira, you have a fear. It's all kifi, how much the thing means to you and is important to you. At the point that it's important and it has to be and it's necessary, you're able to overcome many, many fears and many things that would, oh my goodness. People have asked in terms of the yeshiva, do you realize the responsibility? Which you're saying, are you not afraid? The answer is absolutely. It's crazy, it's nuts. It's crazy. You're mishugging to take such an achrayus. And the answer is that if you think that the mission's necessary, then a lot of years you could overcome a lot of fears because it has to be. I need this. I want this. This is important. It has to be. Oh, I'm afraid. I hear the fear, but it's not. I can't don from that perspective. It has to be. The Moshe and Aaron who go into Parai and the Zkanim who drop out. The difference is not between the two of how like tough guyish towards the Yira. They both have Yira. The Zkanim, Moshe and Aaron have a zrizus, have a sense of a mission and a purpose. Am Yisrael's b'sakana. It's scary, it's nuts. How can we do this? Am Yisrael's b'sakana. Many, many fears just disappear in that zrizus.
What's the line, Rabbi? Avi and I.
Oh, so I want guys to memorize this. Maish, could you memorize this line? The Messiah Sisharim says, Ein hayira geiremes ha'atzlos.
Ein hayira geiremes ha'atzlos.
The fear, which means the fear doesn't cause the laziness. Ela ha'atzlos geiremes hayira.
Ela ha'atzlos geiremes hayira.
You've seen this line in Messiah Sisharim? You've seen this before. I've said it here. Or you just
I've seen this line on.
You like it? I love this. I love it. I love it. I find it so practical in things, even in our own motivations. You actually can get more in touch with your mission and overcome a lot of fears. You remember what you're doing. You remind yourself what you're doing. Instead of battling the Yira, the area of Yira, you go back to your vision, your dream, the mission, and then fears. Yeah, I'm scared. I can't believe it's nuts. I hear.
Me and Rabbi, I didn't hear the line again. Didn't fully internalize it.
We were afraid to ask.
But we
Let's go.
Ein hayira geiremes ha'atzlos.
Ein hayira geiremes ha'atzlos.
Ela ha'atzlos geiremes hayira. The fear doesn't cause the laziness causes the fear. Might you hear this principle? I think it's it's Messias Yesharim. I think it's remarkably valuable because I think we cap out, we say there are many things we can't do, I'm afraid. And all that means to me is you haven't tapped in. Avi, you've seen this Messias Yesharim? You've seen it inside?
No.
Should I show it to the guy? Should we try to find it inside?
If someone can't get fired up by something, it means it starts calling. It's a fear.
Maybe,
it doesn't fire him up.
but I would what I would advise to the person if you're finding you're handicapped by a fear, I would advise a guy to rethink about the mission. Because if I'm scared, I can't. What's nuts to do it? Fine. Well, let me go back. What's the mission? And he could fire himself up and remind himself the mission. Often that gives a kaich. It's taka scared, but I have to do this.
You're not supposed to fight the fear?
I think that the first step of a person to do is to ask himself more about the mission, to talk about the mission, to remind himself the mission. I think that gives a lot of kayachs. I am scared, but 1 second. Let me remember the mission. Let me get more in touch with the mission. If Moshe and Aaron are going into Parai, you say, this is crazy. What you do is go back. Am Yisrael's b'sakana. Am Yisrael's b'sakana. I've spoken about the matzah with the prisoners in jail, and a guy can have all the. I remember there was a time it was getting. I don't feel that in America. It was getting nerve-wracking. There were more and more anti-Semites. They were marching different places in Teaneck and whatever that a march against Yidden. It was getting a little scary. So you could start wishing, just leave, stop. You have to ask them. They're Yidden in prison, and you visualize and what's happening. It pulls you back to the situation. Go see a picture of one of the prisoners. Go see a picture, read up a little about, like, whoa, okay, forget the fear, forget that there's a mission here. Being mechazik the mission, reminding ourselves what we're fighting for, gives power not to chicken out. I've had times in Rebbe meetings where what'd you say?
What was the sentence again?
Let me read the exact. I'm going to get to because I don't want to hazard if it's not exact. Let me get him. Do you remember the exact?
Where's that?
So right for CBT.
I want you to see this line.
Josh said Park Test and see if he's right.
Parak test, Josh said?
Let's see if he's right.
Josh knows. I would never bet against.
I wanted to see if he's right though.
Yeah, right here.
Josh, you're right. Sorry. I just rocked this world. A rock, you know? Huh?
Oh, yeah, how you go? So young man says he's somebody's deep. Oh, bring it.
Halamadta, he says the line, She'ena yira goyremes seyisatzel. The fear does not cause the laziness. Ela atzla goyremes leisheyisyarei. The laziness causes you to be afraid. The lack of belief, the lack of energy and fire to this mission makes you afraid. At the point the mission is like chlor, and you're mamish certain this is the mission, so then the fear goes away. So it's not the fear that causes the inactivity, it's the inactivity, the lack of passion that causes the fear. Incredible line of the Messiah Shalom. I feel it's a powerful line. There's what to work with when you know this. Literally, so I do them when a guy sees the fear. The question he has to ask is how important the mission to me. I think if he chazers the mission, it helps a lot to lessen fear. Baruch Hashem, we're not facing it right now. Baruch Hashem, and we shouldn't go back there. It's like al tiftach peh. We had a time in the yeshiva where there was a lot of fear from the government and threats. I got letters that were scared. And Baruch Hashem, it's many years. We don't have it. You could still see a remnant, how careful we are with the fire stuff and hulu. But there was a time that fear was a big sugya. To me, this Messiah Sharm helped because I was very scared and often had these like really scary thoughts and pictures and fears of what's going to happen to us. A lot of fear. You go back to what's the mission, what's the purpose, what are we trying to do? At the point you're in touch with your mission, your purpose, a lot of fears lessen. A lot of things that you're nervous about lessen because you're in touch with the mission. When you refire up, and there are ways all of us have to fire up back to a mission. What do you hold, Martha? To me, that's the sugya of Moshe and Aaron going into Parai and the Zkanim falling away one by one. So they're the tougher guys. The mission of Am Yisrael's B'Sakana, they both have the same fears. It's equally frightening to both. The mission, Am Yisrael B'Sakana. Am Yisrael B'Sakana. Then you'll see on things in your life. You could do things you never dreamt you could do when you're like the mission. There's so many activities that are hard, that are impossible. That guys, I'm not saying guys should make calls. Last night was a call. If a guy believes in something and it's important, then things that scare him and would normally cause fear, he can overcome. I need to do this.
So, for example, for someone who, like you're saying, the desire isn't there, and that drive that's pushing him to want to overcome that fear. So, if someone isn't adequately fired up in order to,
you won't be able to.
But you can't then force a fire up or
no,
passion about
no. I'm just saying,
be,
but
right?
to me, the task, no. And somebody said this, and it might be true. If I'm just not that fired up, okay, so it could be not your tafkid. It's possible. I also say the activity is to ask yourself about it. When you think about the mission, you might get fired up more. And then you might say, let me forget the fear. What's happening? What needs? Then you're like, this needs to be done. If you can work that way, you'll have energies and strengths that let you overcome a lot of stuff, a lot of fears. Ask him, Avila.
Yeah. I don't think this was a step before, maybe, to know why you're scared. You're not like, I'll take the fried egg example. Someone's scared to go to the deal. Right, that isn't the answer. But like, why are you scared?
Right. That probably wasn't a great example for me because there's what to analyze in the fear. That's true. There's what to study in the fear. Why am I afraid of that?
That's probably
Sometimes things are objectively scary. Right, if it would be an unusual fear, why do I have that? Something's objectively scary. Soldiers going out to war know why they're afraid. What they'd have to do is remind them, what am I fighting for? In wars, it's clear the soldiers that have more that they're fighting for. Somebody told me this. I can't say it's a fact, Russia and Ukraine, that the Russians were struggling early because the soldiers had no idea what they were fighting for. So it's very hard to put a lot in. Why are we fighting again? The one who is more clearly defined why they're fighting have a much bigger power. Even I've heard this, America won the Revolutionary War, so it's a shtickle chiddush. It seems like England was the stronger army. But what's very simple is it might have been more defined to the Americans what we're fighting for. And you just have much more kayach when you know what you're fighting for. You could overcome much more. If you're on the attacking,
what we're doing.
like, why are we doing this again?
The head now.
Maskim? If you know what you're fighting for, why you're fighting, you're a lot stronger, and you could overcome a lot more. To the guy who's like, why are we fighting? What are we fighting for? You just have much less strength, much more things will scare you. You're much more inclined to run away. Why are we fighting for? I've had meetings in Yeshiva to Rabbi that I simply want to just be mechazik the mission statement. What we're about, what are we trying to do? The more that's clear to a person, that gives tremendous energy and strength. And that might be more important than describing fighting, what the specifics, you'll just have more kayak.
Not to not be scared, not counter.
Yeah. Remind what I'm fighting for, why I'm fighting, what I'm doing. I would say a guy in business could use this. There's a lot of scary things. If he reminds himself, his wife, his kids, what he wants to do. It's funny, Maishala, we had a guy in yeshiva years ago. He was graduated from Muncie, a very, very bright guy. He's he's the best football player we ever had in yeshiva ever by a long amount. I think he's like NFL level wide receiver. I really think so. He was, to me, the best footballer we ever had here, to me. And he A guy, you want to know his name? I'll tell you his name. Moshe is his first. I want to get his last. His brother Josh was here. Got published. And in his book, he was inventing a new world. I think it was called The Littles or something. He was inventing a new world, and he worked for a long, long time. I think he worked on the book about 2 years. And he had a thick notebook, and he had like a thing on each character that he had to look at the personalities of the character, and he had a whole elaborate notebook to write this book. And he had in his notebook like a page about each character that he would put along in the loose sleeve closer to where he was up to, so he could remember like the personality of each character. The bottom line, in the middle of this notebook, he showed me this notebook once. It was like a very private thing for him. And in the middle of the notebook, he had a picture of a gorgeous car. So I asked him, like, what's that car? He had no shaykhs to the... He told me that a lot of times in writing this book, he gets like frustrated and there are obstacles. He had a picture of his dream car. And when his book sells, he's going to buy the dream car. And he looks at the dream car as a way of giving himself kayak to write the book. Whenever he'd get a little bit like frustrated and down, he would look back at the dream car. That's what I'm talking about, like in like refocusing on the mission. To him, making the money, having that wealth, having a certain car was motivation. So he would look at the dream car, that would give him the strength to fight obstacles. That's a tool all of us could use in our own sugyas of the importance of the thing, the dream of the thing, can help us give us strength against fear. Fear is ein ayir geremes ha'atzlos, atzlos geremes hayir. That's the...
Did he publish the journal?
He did. He actually did. I don't think it made it. That I don't know. I'm not in touch, unfortunately. We're first going to get the
How did we
name.
never hear about this guy from you? I've never told the story.
It's not a riot from CBT.
Why do you say that?
Rabbi said remind yourself of the vision. If you get, Rabbi mentioned making calls.
Somebody was asking this. Who was asking? Avi was asking that what about like thinking, why am I afraid? For sure, there are different types of yeras. There's a yera that's very natural. So I agree to what you're saying. Like, obviously, if something's an unusual... That's why I probably shouldn't have used the example of afraid to go into the dining room. Because that's an unnatural fear, I don't say to truck that. But even with this, I would say, what do I need to do? But I also would look into the yeras, so I agree to that too. But then they're natural yeras, that's not a question. That's something that's scary, walking into a personal power. Dangerous things are natural. Our fears that are very normal, you don't have to look in and analyze too hard.
Pretty
They both came from Aruvin, like Moshe. They both were in Aruvin. The older brother Maish. It's funny, we got an amazing Maish from Aruvin. We got Maish. He's the first Maish who ever came from the Beis Medrash about over 20 years ago.
I was asking originally, how does Rashi see that this game didn't come in? Just because it says that Aaron and Moshe spoke, why does that show that they weren't there? That just shows they didn't speak, unless not.
That's what gets us covered.
If you read the psukim, the only reason to gather Zakanim was to go.
So they went, they didn't talk.
But they end up, but then it says Moshe and Aaron come. What happened?
It says they came or they spoke. What does it say?
It says bow. They came.
Oh, I thought it said they saw.
By Yomu, fine, but they were bows. Why did they
I
come?
don't know.
That's a Chazal Bavarni. They gathered Zakanim and Moshe and Aaron come. Where they go? Okay, I have another Indian that I want to speak about, but I would not get. I think it's important to get it in today because We will not be together tomorrow, but we can't go right into another Indian after that. Let's sing something and then we'll go. I want to sing a Shir L'Hashem B'chayai.
Start.
You want to come?
Where's the guitar?
Annex.
Yes, riding horses today because he could.
Suit and the scarf.
That's great.
Amazing.
Show it up. Show it up.
He answered it. He obviously answered the call. Why?
Happy birthday.
It's funny, man.
Honestly, good.
Title of the year, as he gets right horse.
Yeah.
The title of the year, gets right horse.
Josh was in high school. Right, she's
Calm him down. Calm him down. Take it off.
Yeah, he knows.
I was calling him back up.
Yeah. Yaakov, how are you?
Sorry, how much are you been
It was like 64 shekel one way, and then it was about like $15, bro. Yo, chill out. I think I even know Yosef money, so.
That's not me, bro.
Why is that not you? I was going to come to the same place.
Husband and wife child.
I say family counts now.
Victor, Josh, Ziskin.
Ziskin?
Victor Ziskin.
You know, Victor Ziskin.
What's the last name? What's Josh's last name? Oh, Victor's,
Mike Ziskin, sure. They were all in our Ruvain, right? I made a claim that Mike Ziskin was the best football player we ever had. By a mile. Yaakov, I will talk to you. Yeah, I will talk to you. Yaakov, I do want to speak to you. Are you in tri-state area now?
He's my age.
Such a feeling.
Huh?
Everybody alive. Yo, are we live?
My mother has Zell, yeah.
Okay, that's Pete, I'm not gonna lie.
We're out here with Rabbi. What do you have to say?
The guys. Hello. Yeah, why are we recording this? Not gonna lie.
Word of the day?
Oh, no. I'm just chilling. I'm waiting around.
Who's Josh Ziskin?
Yiddy, you ready?
Let's go, Shir L'Hashem.
I need you to sing with these people.
Shir L'Hashem Zamra Leilai B'yoyi Allah Sichi Matoyi Asma Shir
Anoichi Yismach Hashem Vayitamu Chatoyim Min Ha'olam Yerushalayim Vaydeinu Ay 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 Baruch Nafshi Yes Hashem Hallelujah Itamu Chatoyim Min Ha'olam Yerushalayim Einam ay 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 Baruch Nafshi Yes Hashem Hallelujah Ashkiro Lashem Chayai Azamro Lelokai V'yoydi Ayay Av Sichi Anoichi Yismach Hashem Ayashiro Lashem Chayai Azamro Lelokai V'yoydi Ayay Av Sichi Anoichi Yismach Hashem Vayitamu Chatoyim Min Ha'olam Yerushalayim Vaydeinu Ay 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 Baruch Nafshi Yes Hashem Hallelujah Itamu Chatoyim Min Ha'olam Yerushalayim Vaydeinu Baruch Nafshi Yes Hashem
Where is?
Hallelujah